Hello again. Today I would like to address a very important issue within classroom management. I'm talking about which patterns of interaction we are going to use within the period of a session or several sessions. For starters, let's bear in mind that when the teacher is in control in the front of the class, nominating students or inviting them to participate, this is called lockstep. Within this pattern of interaction, the teacher is the one who calls the shot. He could be, for example, trying to motivate students to participate or giving the background for a grammar presentation or many other purposes. But in times of cooperative learning, in which we want to make the students the center of the teaching and learning experience, I recommend that we don't abuse too much of the lockstep. Like the commercial goes, everything with measure. So we will have to be managers, organizers, informers. We will have to motivate our learners, but ideally, and visualizing a very constructivist approach, the student has to build on his previous learning in order to take it to the next level of competence. And in order to do that, I suggest that we try to implement as much as possible cooperative learning, including pair work and working in small groups. Like my friend Frankenstein said, let's go by parts. In terms of pair work, well, we can promote debates between two students. We can, for example, make them work with pre-reading or pre-listening. We can implement some attractive sequences working with songs or video in which the two students are going to empower and join their natural performances in order to become increasingly confident and have a better outcome. A very common activity that I implement in my classes is, for example, making them sit in pairs, some of them facing the screen and others turning their back on the screens, and I can project a video in which they can, for example, describe, the ones who are facing the video, and the other ones take notes. Or even we can watch the video without sound, and they can speculate about what is happening. So we are going to have a video in the future on some sequences on how to exploit successfully films, video clips, and songs. Small groups with no more than 6 components. I would say that the recommendable number, ideally, depending of course on the size of the group, it would be 4 to 5 members, but not more. Because we want each one of the students to have sufficiently quality time in terms of oral production. This is ideal in order to implement some cooperative learning sequences. For example, there is an author that I like very much, Dr. Spencer Kagan, and he has designed or suggested over 200 Kagan routines, in which each one of the students working in its group is going to participate with the same length of time. So like I said, debates, communicative activities such as, for example, bus groups, and many other options. Some of the activities in class will have to be completed as individual work. For example, silent reading, For example, writing, of course, completing tests. So there is no such thing as cooperative tests because we want to assess the individual progress made by students. But let's try to leave the individual work as minimum. Next time that somebody comes to observe your class, try to have at least within the period of 45 minutes or 1 hour, 3 or 4 different patterns of interaction. So, a portion of the class could be lockstep. Some activities, pairs. Some activities in small groups. Maybe you could have at the end of the class a moment for reflection, or when they write a paragraph in their log diary. That would be individual work. And last but not least, we could have another pattern of interaction which we call whole class or mingling. This is especially successful when we are answering questionnaires or students want to compile information asking as many members of the group as possible. In this moment, the teacher just monitors and is floating around, supervising that everything goes according to the book, so as to speak. So, well, that's what I have to say about patterns of interaction. We will continue with other important aspects of classroom management in future videos. So that's all that we have to say. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in a future video.